Well, you mentioned that John DeMatha was in France. So where and when did he die? Did he die in France?
No, he actually died in Rome.
In Rome.
In the year 1213.
I see. Very good. And he was buried there too in Rome?
He was buried there too.
Where are his relics today? Do you know where are any of his relics today?
Oh yeah, his relics, well, when he was buried in the Church of St. Thomas in Formis in Rome on the 21st of December 1213, he rested there in peace until the 19th of March 1655, when two Trinitarians entered the church and took his relics out from the sarcophagus, took them to one of their houses in Rome on the Via Sistina, Santa Francesco Romana, and in November they were transported to Madrid. And ever since then, the major relics of John DeMatha have been in Spain. Part of them rest in the cloistered Trinitarian convent in Madrid, Lope de Vega, and the other portion of his relics are in our community in Salamanca, the great old university town.
Well, are there any missions involved in St. John DeMatha today, or are they have any missions at all, or they spread out, or all the Trinitarians stay without any missions? Are there missionaries?
Oh, we've adopted since, shall we say, toward the beginning of this century, a missionary endeavor, particularly in Madagascar. If I'm not mistaken, the first missionaries went to Madagascar in the year 1924, but we're not essentially a missionary order.
Oh, I see. That was my question. Very good, very good. Are they predominantly teaching everywhere, Trinitarians?
We're involved in as many apostolic works or ministries as you could probably name. But the entire thrust, which has been rediscovered since the Second Vatican Council, the entire thrust of our Trinitarian life is for those who are persecuted because they are Christians.
Why?
And that's on a worldwide or a global scale. Locally, for example, here in Hyattsville, Maryland, some of our fellows are involved in teaching in the high school, while others are involved in other ministries on a local level. But the whole reason for the order's existence that we see right from the very beginning in the foundational document, shall I say, the reason is for persecuted Christians.
I see. Well, where would the seminarians be in the area today for Trinitarians if somebody wanted to join the Trinitarians? Where would he go?
Here in the United States, because we're composed of 7 provinces throughout the world.
7 provinces.
And a variety of vicariates as well, and other jurisdictions, delegations and whatnot. But here in the United States, which has been a province since 1950, the first experience is usually here somewhere in Maryland, through initial contact and then a time of reflection and visiting, then what we call the novitiate, or I suppose in military terms, boot camp, is presently down in Victoria, Texas.
Texas, I see.
And that's 1 year spent there in reflection, in pastoral and apostolic experience, in learning about religious life and Trinitarian life in particular, at the end of which they can make a decision whether to join and make vows, or whether this isn't for them and they move on in life. And after that, normally they would come here to Maryland, particularly to the Hyattsville area, for its proximity to the universities and houses of theology in the Washington District of Columbia.
Well, Father Joseph, is every Trinitarian ordained, or there are some Trinitarians who chose to be brothers?
Oh, Trinitarians are, first of all, men and women.
Oh, I see. I didn't know that. Very good, Father.
First of all, there are men and women. Among the men, some Trinitarians are ordained priests, like myself, and others
brothers
don't have the call to the priesthood, but it is the religious profession as Trinitarian that holds us together and makes us move forward.
Well, Father Joseph, you mentioned that ladies, do they dress in robes too, these lady Trinitarians?
The nuns?
Are they nuns?
Oh yeah, we have nuns and we have sisters, nuns being our cloistered communities, prayerful communities, most of which are in Spain, a few of which are in Latin America. And then of course we have the active Trinitarian sisters, who are, I think, 7 congregations that are part of our family.
Are they contained only in the parishes, or do they teach too, these
They
sisters?
teach, they're in parishes,
Sisters teach.
they're in hospital work, they're in chaplaincies.
Very good, very good.
They do almost anything that we ourselves do. And so we have Trinitarian men, priests and brothers. We have Trinitarian women, contemplative or cloistered nuns and active sisters. And we also have a very active Trinitarian laity throughout the world, of men, women, and young people.
Well, Father Joseph, you mentioned these nuns would be in Spain, but are there any in the United States, ladies, Trinitarians?
The contemplative or the cloistered nuns, there are none here in the United States. There are the active sisters of the Congregation of Rome that are here in the United States. They work with our fathers and brothers in the parish in Bristol, Pennsylvania, right next to Philadelphia.
Very good.
And they're headquartered in Euclid, Ohio, which I believe is a suburb of Cleveland.
Very good. Well, do they have a superior mother or superior?
They have a mother superior on the local level, on the national level, and of course on the international level. And together we form the Trinitarian family. The men, the Trinitarian men, the Trinitarian women, and the Trinitarian laity. And in fact, this summer, after our extraordinary general chapter in August, there's a meeting, worldwide meeting of the Trinitarian laity in Rome.
Well, for the fathers, how long does a superior in charge of the father stay? 2, 3 years, or?
On the local level, it's 3 years.
3 years.
As a minister. And on the international level, what we would call the Minister General, it's a period of 6 years.
And does the general control the missionaries too, the Trinitarian missionaries?
We're
Or are they different?
divided on, let's say, 3 levels.
3 levels,
We have
I see.
a general government, we have a province government, and we have a local government. So the House, the province, such as here in the United States, and then of course Father General, who kind of animates and orchestrates us throughout the world. But as you know, in life, everything happens at home. So that's where you start.
Right, you start right there. Charity begins at home. Well, speaking at home, Father, would you be able to relate anything on your own autobiography on the
my
show
own experience
here?
of Trinitarians?
Sure.
I've known the Trinitarians and been associated with them almost 40 years.
Wow, very good, Father.
So
very
I guess
good.
the gray hair speaks to that.
You
but
mean
I
you didn't
still have some.
Very good. You didn't have it before you were a Trinitarian, huh?
Well, no, you figured back then, how old was I?
Yeah.
15, 16, whatever.
Very good.
I'm from New Jersey, the New York metropolitan area, I should say.
I see, very good.
And back then, in the 50s and in the 60s, we were used to having what we call vocation rallies, where at local Catholic high schools, there would be a presentation, 1 week for boys, another week for girls, of different religious congregations and dioceses and things like that. And so we would go every year to learn about the different congregations and speak with the different representatives of the orders and congregations and pick up the literature and whatnot. And it always would sit on the back burner. We'd spend the day also enjoying the facilities of the high school. Fortunately, where I'm from, we went to Seton Hall University, which had a high school division as well, and a wonderful swimming pool.
Oh, that was terrific.
We certainly enjoyed that. Huh?
Well,
come to find out that one of the Trinitarian priests of the American province was from my neck of the woods, as we say. I'm from Kearney, New Jersey. He was from East Orange, New Jersey. Father William Kelly, who's died, God rest his soul.
Very good.
And so relations built up that way. And so you're right, and you get in contact. And I entered the novitiate in Baltimore, Maryland in 1962.
From New Jersey, you went to Baltimore? Yep. Oh, I see.
Made my religious profession in 1963. Did my studies for the first 2 years at our college in Baltimore. Then went to St. Mary's Seminary with the diocesan students for 2 years of philosophy, with a degree in philosophy, and then on to theology at St. Mary's Roland Park in Baltimore. And I was ordained a priest in the chapel of our monastery in Baltimore in 1970.